looking out, similar to the bird viewing area here, just becomes a new space to look out, to read a book, to gather, to be educated. This in the background, essentially a mission statement, as an idea, might change, but that's kind of, again, what you're really seeing when you walk into the lobby in orienting yourself. And again, you can see that kind of glass slit wall here, which would look into the classroom. Again, noise, there's no noise going through there, but you'll be able to see what's going on. This is just turning the corner a little bit, looking into now the new exhibit space. My bear, which I don't know how accurate that is, Dan, we talked about that. And then you can kind of see the nature store here, and this would be kind of an education wall, a little feature wall, just kind of a furniture piece, so to speak, that allows for transparency into the nature store, but you're really walking into the nature store from the other side. So again, you know, connecting spaces, but still having to kind of walk around the main feature, which is that chimney and then the nature store in the center. Just walking a little bit further into there, you know, there's nothing on here yet, but this could be display, it can be information, you know, feature of the month type idea. Exhibit space, green, the kind of light green, really just is there for just, you know, placeholder, as just kind of discussed, but it's not there yet. So mind that those things you can put in your head, whatever those can end up being, maps, displays, local topography, local taxidermy, etc., that they have already in place that is being worked through. And you can see the new windows beyond as well.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this space in the exhibit hall right now, John Kohler is working on primarily the exhibit pieces that'll be in there. So as of right now, these are just placeholders, but this was kind of his orientation that Kohler has talked to us about. So right now, just all white, but it will be fun. So.
And then I'll point out too is the ceiling structure in here. Probably if you've been in there, you noticed that if you've been in that space, we noticed that when we were talking about some of the lights kind of are down, and it's a dark painted space. There's trusses, open trusses, so you don't really realize how high the ceiling is. One of the goals is to kind of make the volume feel bigger, paint the kind of upper areas. You know, there's going to be mechanical ducts up there, etc., but they'll be cleaned up and painted and new lighting for the whole space. So it's meant to feel brighter and lighter, new carpeting, etc. The aquarium does remain. You can kind of see it on the left corner there as well, and that will be kind of just opened up, but it is going to remain as well. This is just looking back now from the corner to the reception on the right. You have an entrance to the multi-purpose on the right as well, and there's essentially night room exhibit, as I mentioned, here on the left. So that's kind of that little room off to the left that can be night scenes. We're starting out to do that as well once we get to the display part. So this is just kind of turning back, kind of coming full circle back towards the lobby. You're walking through that kind of reception area. The nature store, again, not necessarily the right stuff in there, but the idea that that is a nice new kind of clean space where you can walk into the space, it's controlled, and you can check out at reception and get stuffed animal, etc. that you want. So that's really it. I don't know if there's anything else.
Thank you, Seth.
Yeah. Do we have that video? Yep. Is it? Okay, go ahead. So it's just kind of basically taking those shots and just walking through it. I'm trying not to touch it. I tried to put music to it last night too. I think the whole thing is in the time too.
Thank you, Seth. Good
Yeah.
job. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Seth, for Dan?
Maybe I'll pull up a video of it, but that's okay.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. All right. Next up is Jessica Alford. Jessica is going to do a presentation on our lodge and shelter reservations.
Okay. So I am part of the Visitor Services Representative team. I'm the City Administrative Assistant for the Parks. And just to give you a brief synopsis of what we do at the front desk at the Visitor Services we're the first line. We handle the phone calls, the email that come into the info box, patrons that come in here to the Meyer Center as well as the Westwoods. We have a team of 4, and we float between both buildings, Meyer Center and the Westwoods. So we need to be versed in both locations and pretty much everything that goes on in the parks. Let's see if we can do this. So one thing that we do track are numbers. Our numbers are how we get a sense of what's going on in the parks, from camping to facilities, program registrations, you name it, it comes through our desk, and we try and track it. And our numbers are estimates, so I'm just giving you a heads up right now. It lets us know what's popular, what's not, what information we could share with the different departments here at the parks to better the experience of the people who enjoy nature and come and visit us. Okay, so we do program registration. We handle lodges and shelters. These are for people who not only call in, but also reserve online if they call and they've got questions after they've made their reservation. We focus on our customer service. Our school of thought is we want to treat people the way we want to be treated. So when they call in, we try and give them the sense of, hey, we're happy that you called. We know you've got questions. What can we do to help you? It's not by rote. It is, what do you need? How can we help? We focus on the mission statement with the parks because we want them to enjoy nature. We want them to understand what we're doing and how important Geauga County's natural resources are. We handle camping reservations as well as special events. We do a lot of special use permits to make sure that we're maintaining the safety of nature and the safety of our patrons. So if they want to do something unusual, they contact us. And we also handle Bass Lake fishing permits, which I'll tell you a little bit about later. So we track numbers. We've got numbers going back from 2013. I'm sure there are numbers that are well before this. But I thought it was interesting to note, if you look at 2020, that's when COVID hit and the restrictions, distancing started. You can see where we were trucking along. People were really enjoying the parks. But as soon as COVID hit, there was a dip. And then after that, it's like word got out and our numbers started to climb. 2 areas where it didn't really change very much were camping as well as the fishing permits or boating permits for Bass Lake, because those were things that people could do on their own. They didn't have to maintain the social distancing. And if you had a family, you could camp. So while we have had increases in camping and fishing, didn't jump like it did for facilities and programs. So then we've got our most popular lodges. Holbrook Hollows opened in 2019. We've got Clarendon Woodlands, 2018, and then we did a soft opening in 2023 for Veterans Legacy Woods. These 2 facilities, Veterans Legacy kind of jumped in our top 5 of what's booking. Word's out. Everybody's wanting Veterans Legacy now. It's a beautiful facility. We're booking up. Just since March 15th, we've already booked 122 reservations. That's just in the first 3 months of 2025. And every day we're getting more inquiries and more people wanting to book it. So here's our little numbers again. So this is what we like to look at the front desk. And this is what we let operations know, because they're the ones that are maintaining the buildings. They're the ones going in and cleaning up and making sure it's ready for the next patron. And I put a little extra in here. There's our March 15th, 122 reservations, which is great for us because in our soft opening in 2024, soft opening in 2023, that happened in June, our soft opening, where we were taking reservations, but it was between construction. So word got out, we went up to 175 for the year, and now just in March, we're at 122. Now, this does not include internal holds that we put on the facilities for maintenance, or if we have programs scheduled there. So that's why these are estimate numbers. It gives you a sense of it. They're not spot on, because things change, it's very fluid. Okay. Then our shelters. Some of our shelters are really picking up now as well. They did wonderful, with the playground at Bessie Benner Metzenbaum, where Vicki Leptic in our marketing department, she painted these wonderful pipes for kids to play in, and it's getting a lot of use. We're actually recommended Bessie Benner Metzenbaum quite often for birthday parties when people call in and say they're doing a 1-year-old or 2-year-old. and it's really taking off for Bessie. Swine Creek, we get a lot of use for the lakeside shelter, especially from the Amish. It's a very popular site. Orchard Hills, we get a lot of use with the pondside shelter. People who are having functions where they want to invite friends from out of county, especially Cuyahoga, they'll take Orchard Hills. And then we've got Walter C. Best because it's so close to Chardon. That one is super popular with people who want to do parties as well as fishing because they can fish at Walter C. Best. Then, popular campsites. All right, we all know Headwaters, Campsite G. December 2nd, when we opened for reservations, it was pretty much booked for the entire year within the first 2 hours, all the way through December. So, and it's one of our lean-tos. See, where's G? G's over here. It's one of our lean-tos. Lean-tos are extremely popular. Westwoods, Campsite B, that one's further off the trail. When it gets booked, it tends to be multiple days because you have to pack in, pack out. But people enjoy this site because it is removed from the general public. It's very private. Chicagami, Campsite J, that one's taken off, very popular because it's got, again, the lean-to. And here are our numbers, our wonderful numbers. So again, in 2020, when you look at camping, dropped because of COVID, and then it started taking off. Our numbers are higher than before COVID. Again, estimates, because we do put certain things on internal holds or if we have programs. Chicagami this year is becoming extremely popular with the scouting groups, both boys and girls. They are renting, if not half, then the entire campsite because they want to have the kids experience nature. And in some cases, they'll talk to our natural resource management departments, about what can we do, what can I show the kids in this area, and we'll talk to the naturalists to see if they can schedule a program to do with the kids while they're in that park. So we're happy to see that Chicagami's taken off. Although this show's mostly Headwaters. It's popular. And then the fishing permits. Fishing permits are at Bass Lake. Because it is a natural resource where we're trying to monitor it, we only issue 10 permits per day for people who want to take their boats out there. There's no fishing from the shoreline. So these numbers also help. We've got fishing at other parks. Yay, other parks. We do ice fishing at some of the parks. And we do have people who ice fish. So they will call and we issue them a permit because we want to know who's on the ice and who's there when, in case we find their truck, but we don't find them. All right, so here are our boating numbers. Now, I'd like to say that we're noticing a trend in our permits. There's no trend. It's all based on the people who want to fish. Again, it didn't really change much, before and after COVID. It went up a little bit because it's a solitary sport that people can do. But we look at it by the day of the week as well. And we do know that Friday, Saturday, Sundays typically are busier. But again, you guys remember last year, okay, this number was down in August. In other years when we looked at it, it's been a little higher. Remember we had that tornado and we had a bunch of rain? So that turned a lot of fishermen off. They were just like, eh. So, like to say we've got a trend. We really don't. But we share the information with the Natural Resource Management so they can see what we're looking at and they can compare their information. I'm sure they'll do a presentation at a later date. So, and I thought this was interesting. So we do parking permits January through February for ice fishing. The rest of the year it winds up being boating permits. And you'll notice a difference in our system if you book online. Most of our fishermen, we've managed to talk to them, show them how to use our online system to do a permit online. And yeah, most people, they do their fishing permit just without calling the front desk. So it's really nice that they're utilizing our website. And that's it. So yeah, we're not just answering phones. We're also trying to figure out who's doing what where and how we can make their experience better in the park and what's popular. And share the information not only with you folks, but with our different departments.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Good job. Thank you to our visitor service representatives. We work for all of our residents, but work directly for Jessica. They do a wonderful job. job of customer service and ultimately setting people up to utilize our parks and enjoy nature. Thank you, Jessica. Good job. All right, we'll move on. As Jessica settles in with a few accomplishments for the month, we will start with our Ranger Department today. This month, our Sergeant Ranger Mike Rose and Ranger Brian Kerr attended a 5-day course at Kent State's Twinsburg campus to earn Field Training Officer certification through the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy. The course covered everything on training new police officers through the FTO program's Ohio model and ensured that an active trainer will now be working both Geauga Park District Ranger shifts. As a result of this change, Chief Ranger Sloan and Sergeant Rose, our training program coordinator, also implemented a new field training manual specifically tailored to our Ranger Department. Every law enforcement agency's field training program is different, said Sergeant Rose, but I believe ours is especially different with all the unique hats we wear. All right, thank you, Ranger Department. Thank you for that update. Moving on to the Natural Resource Management Department, we've got some pictures to accompany this update. Last week, Natural Resource Management and Operations staff, led by Park Biologist Paul Pear, were able to conduct prescribed fire meadow management on more than 40 acres of Observatory Park and Growing Meadows with the help of partners in Portage Park District, Ohio Division of Natural Areas and Preserves, and Western Reserve Land Conservancy. Prescribed fire managers must be very mindful of day-to-day weather conditions such as temperature, wind, and humidity, and they also work closely with Montville and Bainbridge Fire Departments on burn days. They also notify our neighbors ahead of time that this management technique will be used in their neighborhood during March and April. What a crew. And out of the Naturalist Department, 3 weekends of SAP's Horizon Sundays at Swine Creek Reservation kicked off February 23rd, attracting a grand total of 1,050 guests. The first 2 weekends yielding no gathering as conditions were too icy for sugaring, trail walking, and sap sled horses. No sap was arising that day, but the third Sunday drew 583 park patrons with the picture-perfect conditions shown in these spots. Sap was dripping and it was wall-to-wall sunshine on that day. It was a beautiful day. Quickly, sugaring season came. It's now gone, and our construction crew is on to carpentry and construction. Last but not least, the astronomy-themed coursework at our Nature Scopes binocular program continued and concluded this month with all 817 Geauga County fifth graders having participated. And Nationalists held a total 103 programs in February, with a total attendance of 2,512. All right, thank you, staff. Appreciate you. Thanks, staff, for making the drive off. And that is all I have for commissioners' time. Anything from the commissioners? All right, if not, we will move on in the agenda to executive session and propose to go into executive session for pending court action, personnel matters to consider the employment of public employees, and for purchase of property.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bates?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Ms. Carnegie?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
All right, thank you, folks. We'll be going into executive session.